So currently I'm out on the Japanese walking thing. I figured I'd give the hype a try. That being said, I want to talk to you about dieting. Hopefully you can hear me properly because it's quite windy out. So maybe I can edit it and see this can kind of get the sound removed, but hopefully. So yeah, the main thing I want to talk about is dieting, how you should structure it, how you can structure it, and also very important, why I think people overcomplicate this process, which doesn't necessarily need to be the case. Because dieting can be very complex, but it doesn't have to be very complex. So that's the main thing that I want to talk about today. So, without all that being said, I think the main thing that we always need to pay attention to with dieting is what's the purpose of the diet, right? So, first get that clear. Is your goal to gain weight? Is your goal to lose weight? Just to be healthier overall? What's the idea here? Once you figure that out, then it's easier. Fucking hell, it's windy. It's easier to design a diet that's suited to your goals. So, let's say we grab the first one. Your goal is to gain weight. Well, the main thing that you then need to figure out is, okay, well, how many calories am I burning every single day? So that's a bit of trial and error. But then, once you figure out the number, and let's say it's 2,000 or something, you will lower, or you get your calories up there to 2,000, eat a little bit more than that, and then you will start gaining weight, which isn't complex, I know. But the main thing that you always should pay attention to is how you then divide the calories. Like, are you going to eat more fats? Are you going to eat more protein? Are you going to eat more carbs? So which is the main thing you push up to get your calories up there? In my personal experience, for most people, as long as your proteins and fats stay the same, they're good. You can just slowly push up the carbs and you will slowly gain weight in a very healthy, natural way, as long as the movement is there. If you don't move a lot, then it might be a better idea to move your fats up a little bit, but to each their own. So that's kind of how you approach calorie surplus, because you try to keep the main things the same, right? So your vitamins, minerals, protein and fats, try to keep those the same, move your carbs around a little bit, and then in general speaking terms, you should be good. So that's kind of how I approach a calorie surplus. Then let's say you want to approach a calorie deficit. Much of the same rules do apply. So you try to keep your proteins and your fats the same, your vitamins and minerals as well, and you just slowly, in my personal opinion, reduce your carbs. Because carbs are something most people, almost everyone, eats an excess amount of, so it's not always necessary for you to eat as many carbs as you do. In fact, I'm here to preach the argument that you're probably eating way too many of them anyway, especially for how much you move, so you're good removing them a little bit. So, all that being said, so once you do those things, you kind of just remove your carbs slowly until you're in a calorie deficit. So then you would be about like 1,800 calories maybe, and then you would slowly lose weight without having to adjust much, actually. The only thing you would need to adjust is how many carbs you're eating. So how much rice you're eating each meal, or how much pasta, how much potatoes, whatever, right? Which makes dieting quite easy, actually. So those two are gaining weight and losing weight. But what about if you're trying to eat for health? Well, then the main thing you're going to need to look at, all you need to do is find things that have as little ingredients as you possibly can. So, let's say, for example, if you have an apple, if you look at the ingredient list of an apple, there is none. Because the only thing that's in an apple is apple. So it's not that hard. If you start buying other things that are processed and that have additives and whatever to it, then all of a sudden you're gonna have to look at labels, because then the label that has the least amount of things on it you don't know is probably going to be the best for you, which makes it quite easy actually. Because if there's like a list this long on your product that you're trying to buy, it's probably not going to be the best for you. While if you get a tomato or an apple or a carrot, whatever, it only has one ingredient and that's the thing that it is, then it's probably going to be healthy for you, and it's also going to be pretty good, and you can probably eat it without having to feel bad about it, right? So it doesn't need to be difficult. So that's how you eat for health, kinda. But then the important thing is, once you start eating for health, I have to pace up the walk again, so I have to walk a bit faster. But then once you start eating the health for health, you gotta start looking more at vitamins, minerals, and what are deficits that I can fill. And also, which is very important when you're studying for health, is what does my stomach respond well to. So whatever your gut biome, so your intestines and stuff, can handle well, which you digest easily, is the thing you want to go for, which doesn't need to be complex. You just need to do it. So that basically means, let's say for example, I personally really like kimchi and like yogurt for gut health. And then if that's your goal, that's how you start eating. So I feel like sometimes people are just looking for like the perfect food and the perfect stuff to eat in order to fix their problems. Well, in general, all they really need is just a simplification of the problem that they're trying to fix. So you don't need to make dieting complex. It just needs to be doable. Compliance is the science, kinda. So just figure out something that's easy for you. Like for me, I like yogurt or kimchi for my gut biome, for example. But if you don't like either, there's other foods as well. Like everything that's fermented is most of the time is fine. Like there's a whole bunch of other things you can eat for gut health as well. And also something that's a very big deal for gut health in general is just eating stuff that doesn't upset your stomach instead of trying to fix your stomach. So all the processed shit you're trying to eat all the time, most of the time is the problem where your gut doesn't feel good in the first place, which is very easily replaceable by stuff that's healthy for you and that's easy to do. Then, if you figured out how you want to eat and what you want to eat and those type of things, then figure out easy ways to make them. My arm's getting a bit tired. Make easy ways to make them. Sorry if I'm getting out of breath a little bit, by the way. I have to walk at a faster pace for 3 minutes. But then you try to figure out easy ways to make the food. So make pasta for a few days, or rice and vegetables, or whatever. But find easy ways to structure your food. Like, it doesn't need to be complex. You don't need to be cooking stuff or being in the kitchen for an hour every single day if you don't want to, because it's going to make your diet more complex. And if your diet is more complex, you're probably less likely to stick to it. So you want to fix that by making your diet as easy as possible, by making easy foods. And if you just throw a whole bunch of vegetables in the pan, make it taste nice with some seasoning, and eat that shit, then it's not a problem, right? So the main thing is, don't overcomplicate it and find easy things to do. Like maybe rice, buy a rice cooker, make sure that you have something to fix that, because then all you need to do is press a button and they make the rice for you. Maybe like make some vegetables, maybe, I don't know, throw some chicken in there if you want to, and then all of a sudden you have a healthy meal that you can spread out over 2 or 3 days, and you're good. See, it doesn't need to be complex. And if you bulk, just make a little bit more of the food. And if you're cutting, make a little bit less. Or just eat it over a longer period of time, throw it in the freezer, whatever. Like, don't overcomplicate this shit, right? So stop looking for perfect ways to diet and just start looking for easy ways to diet, because then you're way more likely to stick to it and actually get something done. Have a good one.